She is an expert in international dialogue. She is specialized, no?
Inner dialogue.
Inner dialogue. Inner dialogue. Yes.
A little bit different.
She's very much. She's specialized in developing success where it matters the most, within the mind of oneself. Let's give it up for Maiken Juul.
Hello, we are just going to be testing my PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to start with introducing myself. My name is Maiken Juul. I have specialized in our inner dialogue and how to develop a growth mindset, a healthy inner dialogue. I do motivational speaking, I do workshops and I do coaching, and I hope to inspire as many people as possible to develop a more healthy inner dialogue and to develop inner power, inner peace, instead of being self-destructive, instead of being self-criticizing and actually hindering their own growth. If you feel like a failure, you are not going to reach your full potential. And this is because if the emotional part of you is neglected, if you don't take care of your emotional self, you're not going to have very much power. You're not going to have very much bravery. You're not going to go outside of your comfort zone, and then you will not reach your full potential. And this is also because everything you do in life, everything you aim for, is linked to a feeling. So if you're scared, then you're not going to get there. I want you to consider that your mind is your business. I actually want you to consider that your mind is the most important business you're ever going to be in charge of. And I want you to start building it the way that makes sense for you. You were brought into this world, and you were brought up by your parents that gave you a lot of thoughts, a lot of influences, but also a lot of restrictive labels. And you have taken these labels with you into your adulthood. And these are actually limiting in you, in your belief, and in the power you have, unless you change the way you look at yourself and the way you look at your reflections. So I want you to challenge your assumptions so you can find your own truth. Now, let's look closer at this. If you think of your reflection as, in fact, an inner dialogue, you have on one side, you have on one side your inner child, which is your emotional self. And you will know this part of you as your emotional self. And in the daily life, you're not going to recognize your reflection as an actual dialogue. Because when everything is going fine, you're just reflecting, you're doing things. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But when you reach an emotional turmoil, you will recognize your inner child. Because it's going to go, oh, I don't want to do this. And it's going to go, oh, he's really annoying. And you're going to listen to inner dialogue. You're going to hear that you actually have an inner child in you. You can have this always. This part of you has its own set of values. These are based on basic values like sleep, food, attention, love, play, all of these things. This should be half of your agenda in your life. And I don't mean you should playing half of your time, but you should be making sure that you have fun with what you do. Because you need to please this part of you. And you need to make sure that you take your emotional distress seriously. And do not try to hide this away. Because I'm telling you, if you hide all your negative emotions, you're going to take all the positive ones along with them. And what you end up doing is feeling like a shell. On the other side, you have your inner parent. This is a part of you that is very structured. This is a part of you that has focus on prestige, on money, on making a success, on getting things done, clean house, all of these things. And you can see, if you compare these two, when your inner child is happy, then all of you is happy. When your inner child is happy, you feel full. When he's not happy, you feel empty inside. And you keep longing for something you don't know. Because if all of your focus, if you have like 80, 90% focus on achieving your inner adult's goals, all you go for is money and success, you are never going to be happy. You're always going to feel like a failure if you don't take this part seriously. So, I think this picture here is very good to define the difference between healthy and an unhealthy inner dialogue. Your inner dialogue actually sets the stage for your happiness and your mental strength. So on the one side, you have this woman here who you can see from her body language also, but look at what she's thinking. Because she may have everything going for her. She may have a really, really good job. She may have a lot of money, beautiful kids, but she has a self-destructive inner dialogue. So she's not happy, and she's never gonna be. The only way she's gonna be happy is if she changes the way she reflects. And you can't change this. Nothing of the way you reflect right now is a set agenda. It's all about getting the right tools to improve your inner dialogue. You can be anything you want. You can find all the power from within if you know how to do this. And I'm going to give you the headlines of some tools today so you can start improving your inner dialogue. So this woman here, she has a fixed mindset. This is also what it's called. So a self-destructive, restrictive labeling mindset. That's a way of saying, I'm not good enough. I cannot do this. I don't know how to do this. I'm never going to be able to do this. This is a fixed mindset. On the contrary, you have this guy. He has a growth mindset. He may have nothing going for him, but he has a healthy inner dialogue. So therefore, he's going to be happy because he takes care of his inner child. So the question is, if any of you have a fixed mindset, and you can start listening to inner dialogue because it's there every day. When you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night, you have this in your head. And what do you tell yourself? Do you say, I don't know how to do this. They're smarter than I am. This is so typical, I always fail. And the last one here, failure can take a second and success can take a lifetime. Why is this? If you fail once, you feel like a failure. And if you succeed, it needs to take you 20 years. Why is this? This is also restrictive labeling. Let's look closer into the brain. You've probably seen this before, but in the center of your brain, there's a very small part that's called the amygdala. This is activated when you feel emotional distress. So something makes you sad or angry. You're still an adult, but you know when this happens, because all of a sudden, you don't feel very grown up anymore. You feel weak, you feel sad. At this time, there is an immediate reaction and a sensation to want to fight, flight, or freeze. In reality, what actually happens is that you feel like saying bad things to yourself or to other people, or you feel like running away. And this is not the way to react, because what's also going on is that over here, your prefrontal cortex, here in your forehead, where you reflect, it shuts down. So if you try to reflect at the same time as you're having an emotional distressed experience, you're going to try to reflect like a 3-year-old. That's exactly what's happening. So if you want to change things from now on, what you need to do is first calm yourself down and then you reflect. You cannot do it at the same time. Then you will destroy yourself and you will destroy others. And I'll show you what it looks like when a grown-up is actually having an emotional distress and tries to reflect while doing it. It looks like this one. You've probably seen them. Grown-ups having temper tantrums. This is not the way you want to go. And I know that he's feeling, this is helping him. You've met these guys and these women. They go, oh, this was nice. I got it off my chest. But what have you done? You've hurt your relations. You've hurt your own self-comfortability. What's really going on here? This is not what you want to do. And I know that a guy like this is probably saying, but this is who I am. This is who I am. This is all I know how to do. Because maybe he was brought up by parents that didn't teach him how to calm himself down. They told him to go to his room until he was happy. So all he had to do was find out how to calm himself down like a 3-year-old, and he's still doing it while he's 40. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to carry on like this. I'm going to tell you how to do it differently. This phrase, I would like for you to remember. The thought you have in your mind, it doesn't matter if it's true. All that matters is if it does something good to you, to hold on to it. So consider that this guy is saying, my boss is an idiot, and he really did something bad to me. It may be true, but it doesn't do anything good to him to hold on to it. He needs to calm himself down and get the helicopter view. So, yeah, I was actually going to ask you the question. It's not really working, the slideshow here, but so the answer is there, because what is the key to success? I don't know if you have heard about Brendon Burchard. Have you? He is an American motivational speaker, one of my big idols, because he has really high emotional intelligence. So in my world, he can do it all. He's been asking a lot of successful people about what actually makes the difference. Why are they successful and other people are not? And what he found was that they had the ability to adapt. Now, what is this? This is actually also a definition of the growth mindset. Because if you have a growth mindset, you don't let yourself be restricted by the labels you were given by other people. You never tell yourself you're a failure. You are proud of yourself for even trying. This is a growth mindset. He says, successful people are not limiting in their belief. They have a growth mindset and are able to adapt and grow according to the situation. So whenever you hear a sentence in your mind that goes something like, oh, but I can't do this, I don't know how to, then don't lock yourself there. Find out how to do this, because that is going to make you succeed. Not to lock yourself in this idea. I've looked into the research, and it actually confirms this very well, because self-affirmation is the key to improve performance and willpower. There's been multiple research showing which support the finding that self-criticism is consistently associated with less motivation and worse self-control. And I find this really interesting because I've been speaking to a lot of people who tell me that they have a critical inner dialogue. They call themselves perfectionists and they're proud of it. But what they're really doing is they're making themselves sad. And what else are they doing? They're lowering their own motivation and they're lowering their self-control. So the reason why they're doing this, because I ask them, why are you doing this? And they tell me that they believe that they'll become better performers, that they'll deliver more. But this is just an excuse for their scared inner parent that doesn't want to take care of their emotional self. So stop making these excuses. Stop locking yourself in this idea that it's good to be bad to yourself. I'm telling you, no one benefits from you yelling at yourself. No one. Also, self-affirmation actually improves problem-solving performance. So there you go. Start affirming yourself. You're not going to hurt anyone. And I know that you're probably telling yourself, if I tell myself I can do this, then I'm going to be disappointed if I can't. But you know what? Then you're going to calm yourself down and you're back on track. It's going to be okay. So I want to tell you, I want to give you an example because this is all words. How do you do it in reality? So let's do a case here. You have just received a phone call from a guy that you really want to do cooperative partnership with. You had 2 business meetings with him and everything is looking fine. He calls you and he goes, yeah, I'm sorry, but no, it's not going to work out. You know, I'm sorry, I'm sure you'll find someone else. And you put down the phone and you can feel the wave. It's hitting you. Big emotions of anger, sadness, and disappointment. And this is where you're going to tell yourself, a wave is coming. And all I need to do now is take care of the wave, no reflection, because then I'm going to be like a 3-year-old. And I'm going to tell myself that he's an asshole, or that I'm stupid, or that I'm not going to do this business anymore, I'm going to quit. So don't reflect, because these words are going to damage you on the long run. So what you do is, you put your feelings into words. So you ask yourself, you ask your inner child, what are you feeling? So you may say, I feel so sad. I feel so disappointed. And now you're probably thinking, I don't have a split mindset like that. But honestly, don't you always talk to yourself? You're just not used to it being a nice voice. So try doing this. Focus on putting the emotion into words. And then we can feel the wave going down. Your amygdala is relaxing. You can feel like the rising is coming up. Then you do self-affirmation, like the study showed. And this can be phrases like, I know you did your best. It's okay. I'm so proud of you that you dared to contact this guy. We can do this again. I'm just proud that we're doing this. What a great experience. So, and then keep breathing. And it's all about keep adding on these self-affirming phrases. On the long run, you're going to develop a growth mindset. And the more you do this positive self-talk, the more you're going to believe them. In the beginning, you're probably not going to believe your own words. You're going to go, but it's not true. But honestly, are you as ugly and stupid as you tell yourself? I don't think so. You still believe it. You might as well say something nice. In the long run, you're going to keep adding on these nice phrases like, I'm so proud of myself for trying. And you're going to find the power to go outside of your comfort zone because you know that you'll be safe in your own skin. You forgive yourself for mistakes because you are human, right? And you put your fears into words, and you tell yourself that I can do anything if I set myself up to it. You know, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. If there's something you want to become an expert in, then do it. Just do it. What's actually going to happen to you when you do all of this is you're going to improve your emotional intelligence. So first off, you're going to improve your self-awareness. You're going to see your inner child, your emotional self. That's going to totally open up your eyes for other people's emotions. This is called empathy. You can see other people's. You can sense what they feel. You can feel their agenda. And where does this put you? This will empower you for social management. Then you'll know what people think, what they want. Then you can sell. Then you can sell yourself and your business. And you have the power you're longing for. You just need to go and hold yourself first. Then you'll be strong. So this is not looking the way it should have, but this should have been a big error. Just going through the wave, putting your emotions into words, going to being able to reflect, rational focus, helicopter view, you develop emotional intelligence. And this, in the end, will give you strength, inner calm, focus, efficiency, self-awareness, happiness, empathy, gratefulness, just to mention a few. So, this is a quote from me. When you develop a growth mindset, fear will no longer be an issue as you will have your own back. And then it's just to have fun. Because that's what life's about. It's just a journey of fun. I would love for you all to connect with me on social media. And if you want to go into depth with this, I would also love to do a workshop. Of course, we can find some reduced costs for students like you. But feel free to contact me. And I don't know if we have time for a few questions. Yes? Does anyone have questions? Well, thank you for your attention.